Here we come, blue and white, and we're looking good. You'll be in for a fight, and we fight pretty good. Getting goals is our job, and we get goals good. Looking good, we are Carlisle United.
Hello everyone, you're listening to the Brunton Bugle, the number one place to get a Carlisle United fix in the podcast world. I'm Lee Rooney.
And I'm Dan McLennan.
We're the famous Carlisle United and we're going to Wembley. The Blues put in a superb display against Bradford to secure a place in the League Two playoff final. And in this episode, we're going to look back on the dramatic 120 minutes of action at Brunton Park.
With a pass so true to Boulder Stone and Clark's in view. There's a cross and a run, the old one too.
Dan, it's almost 48 hours since the game now.
Well, I'm going to stop you first
Go on.
because you said 120 minutes of action. You've missed out the 17 minutes of Sean minimum added time.
Yeah.
That ended up being about 25 in total.
That's true. No, you're right. You're
Wasn't it
right.
the longest match you've ever known?
It felt like that at the end, definitely. Like, oh my God, I couldn't. Unbelievable. But I mean, like you said, what a game, and like, yeah. So it's obviously been 48 hours nearly since that now, and I think I'm still on cloud nine from it as well.
Yeah.
It's weird.
No, I've been down at the club this morning, obviously in my kiosk role, where we've been helping with the collections, and it is an absolute buzz around the place. It's an absolute hive of activity.
Yeah.
Players coming in for their tickets, fans collecting theirs, people trying to sort transport, club shops being inundated. The whole place is just bouncing.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So this is the first of a series of episodes that are coming this week. So we'll tell you a bit more detail at the end of the show, but essentially, just to make sure you listen to it all, there's going to be something out more or less every day up till sort of Saturday, I think, aren't we? We're going to put little bits out. So we thought, rather than doing one episode where we review the Bradford game and then preview the Stockport final game, we wanted to do this separate, didn't we? Because it felt like it needed to be a lot sooner, didn't it? But by Thursday, not to say the high will have worn off, will it? But it won't be quite the same, will it, as doing it today, really?
Yeah.
In ideal circumstances, we would have recorded yesterday, but we were all busy, weren't we? So unfortunately, we had to put it off till today on the Monday. But we'll do a very quick Loan Watch and news roundup, because I think we've got some important news in the Loan Watch, haven't we, Dan? And then we'll get on with the review. So first up, obviously we got to tell you about our sponsors, who certainly will be enjoying the game this weekend. A nice, easy one for them to get to for this season's podcast, and of course how you can get in contact with them. We want you getting in contact with us this week because we're going to be doing loads of really good stuff. I think in terms of your reactions, how you feel going into the game, and also how to subscribe to the podcast. So here's the details of that. We'd like to say a big thank you to the Carlisle United Supporters Club London branch for once again sponsoring the podcast this season. The London branch is open to all Carlisle United fans. They've got members from Cornwall to Dundee and Houston to Singapore, and of course every part of London and the South East. They regularly meet up on away trips, as well as arranging many social events, supporters games and fundraising for the club. This season they'll be providing us with information for the away games as part of the preview section. You can find out more about the London branch at their website, carlisle.londonbranch.org. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to the podcast. You can find us on all good podcast apps, whether it's Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast. Basically, search for the Brunton Bugle, click subscribe, and then when a new episode comes out, you'll get a little notification to tell you to download it and listen to it at your leisure. Also, if there's an option to review on any of those apps, please do so. If you can give us a 5-star review, that would be really lovely. It's a great way for us to get the message out about the podcast, and so more people can learn about it, and we can spread the word even more. You can also find us on social media, at Brunton Bugle, on Instagram and Twitter. If you go onto Facebook and search for the Brunton Bugle and click like as well, you can follow our page. We're also on the Be Just and Fear Not Facebook group, and also on the Buzz Is Back message board, the new message board that's replaced the cumbrians.net. And also, if you want to drop us an email, bruntonbugle@gmail.com. Right then, Dan, let's get into it. News time. I mean, what are we going to talk about in the news?
Well, no, we have got one genuine piece of news.
Go on.
What, Max Kilsby?
Oh, well, I mean, that's in the Loan Watch. That's the Loan Watch. I was talking more about Wembley tickets.
Well, yeah. Well, by the time regulars listen to this, you've probably already sorted yours. 7,000 sold in the first day. It's
Brilliant.
busy today. A lot of people are using the online, which seems to have gone pretty well.
Yeah.
I got 2 lots online yesterday by 10:10.
Yeah. I think the clubs deserve so much credit for how well this ticketing thing's gone. I know there's a few issues in terms of what blocks are being sold online and what are being sold in person in the shops, but I think this is the option the club took, thinking this is the best way to make sure tickets get on sale quickly so people can get their own arrangements in place in terms of transport, because Stockport haven't put their tickets on sale yet. They don't go on sale till tomorrow.
Stockport 10 a.m. Tuesday, e-ticket only.
Yeah.
By all accounts, of the 6 finalists, we are the only one doing physical tickets.
Wow. Yeah. I'm glad about that because I like having a physical ticket. I'm very old-fashioned like that. For a big game,
especially for the final.
Yeah.
Especially for the final.
I mean, you were talking about you want to get yours framed and stuff, don't you? I think that's what we want
to
get done, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, me and the boy going, photo, match programme.
Yeah.
Ticket, if we win, we'll get a big montage done, which loads of people will. And that's just also part of my campaign against A4 tickets.
Yes, A4 tickets, 100%.
Sutton and Bradford, horrors.
Oh, Barrow as well last season, did they? Oh, no, it wasn't Barrow, it was someone else, I can't remember, but anyway. Yeah. But yeah, so ticket details, they're all on the club website. We're not going to read out all the details here, but it's all pretty straightforward.
Like we say, most of you have probably bought already, and if you haven't, the club, it's all over socials and websites. So.
Exactly. Right, loan watch time then, Dan.
Last man standing. What a night.
What a night for Max Kilsby and Annan Athletic. I mean, huge congratulations to them. They've secured promotion to Scottish League One, haven't they?
I mean, derby against Queen of the South next season.
That's incredible as well, isn't it?
I'm going to try and make one of those because that'll be brilliant.
It will be good, won't it? Really be fantastic. I mean, it won't be quite the Wild West you get like Auchenlecky Talbot and teams like that when they play their derby
Auchenleck versus Cumnock is the one up in that region.
Yeah, that is generally the Wild West when them two play each other.
It's like Galatasaray versus Fenerbahce but in deepest western Scotland.
With deep fried Mars bars all over the place. So the Galabankies, they travelled up to New Douglas Park, which is Hamilton's ground, but that's where Clyde play at the moment. With a 3-1 lead from the first leg, and they actually went 1-0 behind into the second half. But they found their feet, and I think I didn't watch the first half, I watched the second half, missed the goal, but then I started watching after that, and they were struggling for a little bit, but then fair play, Peter Murphy made a tactical switch. He stuck one of the centre-backs up front. I can't remember his name is Muir. I don't know what his first name is, but I think he apparently plays up front quite a lot for them. Actually, he switches between that position, and they suddenly look so much more assured. They brought the French lad on, Lucint, is it? Lucent, yeah. So he came on and he scored 2 goals, basically including one in injury time to basically secure the 2-1 win and a 5-2 victory in aggregate, which means congratulations to Max. Obviously, Blues legend and Adam boss Peter Murphy's led them there. He's done a brilliant job, hasn't he? When you consider the budget they'll have compared against some of the other teams that come down to that level and some of the teams that come up from junior football, amazing. And obviously we've got to give a shout out to the former Blues players in there, Dan, haven't we?
There's a raft of them. Keeper Greg Fleming, Stephen Swinglehurst in his testimonial season.
Amazing, isn't it?
Young lads, Charlie Barnes and Ron Steele. Matty Douglas has been there a few years, and Josh Galloway is there at the moment. So
so that's good
plenty
stuff
of ex-Carlisle links.
Definitely. So fantastic for them. Well done, and shows the real. Max has finished his loan spell now with 38 appearances under his belt and 7 goals. That shows the real benefit of sending him to a decent level, and Annan going up's good for us, isn't it? Really, because we can look next season and go, all right, maybe Kai Nugent, we could send him there for the.
I was just going to say, someone like Kai Nugent, even if you just send him for the first half of the season, so he's getting football and games, and playing at because obviously when these teams are obviously part time, so the likes of Kilsby will train with Carlisle through the week, and then maybe when the nights Annan train, he won't train much with us during the day. He'll go up there and train, but. It's a great grounding for them, and obviously, Kilsby's a fine example. 38 games, several goals, and a promotion.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Right, that's that covered, Dan. Let's get on to the big one now. Match review. Carlisle United 3, Bradford City 1. Wow, what a day!
We don't do it easy, do we?
We had to have a little bit of drama thrown in there. But I mean, I say drama thrown in there. I never ever felt worried in this game.
No,
I was a little bit nervous, but my heart was going. But I was never worried to the point where I thought we're going to concede here.
I thought all week we were going to win.
Yeah,
I really did. From what I saw in the second half of the first leg, they didn't scare me.
No, 100%. I've got it as a talking point later, but I'm really disappointed with Bradford. I was expecting a really tough test, but actually in the end, and maybe that's just a bit more credit to our defensive performance as much as anything, we never really looked that threatened, did we?
No.
It's incredible. I mean,
really? Andy Cook's played against us 4 times this season.
Yeah,
he scored against everyone but us, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean that's actually his 8th appearance against us now, and he hasn't scored in a single one of them.
Yeah.
Which it's always nice. But
considering he scored, was it 28 goals? And he's played us 4 times and not got one against us. Tells you a story of that. And
actually, there's an argument as the games have gone by, we've got even better at stopping him, because that first game at Brunton Park, he should have had a hat-trick. He had so many good chances, even though it's a game where we probably had a lot more chances overall. He had their 3 best chances. The league game down there, again, he had about 2 or 3 good chances in that. Playoffs, Tony had to make a save from him. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't think he has. He's had a couple of long ranges that have gone well wide and high. But bar that, we'll talk about player performances in a minute, but Paul Huntington, the job he did on him was just incredible. Yeah. Brilliant. I mean, before I talk about team selection stuff like that, I've got to say, he's genuinely one of the best experiences I've had at Brunton Park. I said this on Radio Cumbria afterwards. The euphoria I felt after that is like nothing I felt for quite a while following Cal United. It was just genuinely real buzz, and that's a credit to the job that Paul Simpson's done and these players have done, isn't it? Like all season, even when we've had bad spells, there's always been a feeling like, we're still okay. We've still got a bit of fight in there. There's never been a game where you thought they've not put the effort in, is there? I mean, you'd maybe look at that Mansfield game and possibly say that maybe it's one where some people might argue we should have done better, but I don't think there was a lack of fight. I think they're just a bit shell-shocked in that game, weren't they?
Yeah.
As much as anything. So, brilliant stuff. All right, well, going into this one, Dan, team selection. We'd heard whispers that there was a bit of a surprise change in there. And when the teams were announced, just the one change, and maybe a little bit surprised, but maybe not. J.K. Gordon straight back in there after his 3-match ban. And I can't remember if it was either me or you or someone suggested that we thought this might be the change that was made.
Yeah.
And he came in to partner Garner in attack, and Patrick dropped to the bench. Harris came off the bench. He was the player who's lost his place to JK effectively. What did you think when you saw this team selection? Were you okay, that's fine, or were you a bit surprised?
No, I thought it was probably about right. I know Simmo's talked about starters and finishers a lot.
Yeah.
Joe Garner's never going to play 120 minutes.
No.
I don't think J.K. Gordon would have, with him missing 3 games. I think it was set up in case it was tight so that the likes of Edmondson, Patrick could come on. Obviously, Christian Dennis said crashed into a mannequin, bizarrely.
Yeah, I think it's like sliding in or something. One of those metal mannequins they use for walls.
He'd actually cut his shin wide open.
Yeah.
But he was on the bench though, and I think if it was heading to penalties, I think he would have come on with a minute to go.
Yeah, I think that was the feeling.
Just to stand there and take a penalty.
Well, Simmo did say...
I've actually seen Christian Dennis today. I've a mutual friend with him, so I was having a chat with him, and he's walking absolutely fine. So I would imagine he'll be fit for the weekend.
Yeah, and then the thing is, Simmo did actually say, didn't he, in injury time of extra time, he was going to make a sub anyway, wasn't he, just to get a couple of fresh legs out on there.
Yeah.
And in the end, because Whelan was down injured and he'd been treated and he would have had to go off the pitch, he just said, I'm just going to sub him off now for Robinson. And that was the reason why Dennis didn't come on in that situation. But yeah, so yeah, not a massive spot. I agree with you. I think Gordon's a much better starter than he is a sub at the moment. I think he makes more impact. I think Patrick makes more of an impact as a sub coming on against against tired legs with his fresh legs. So yeah, I agree with you. I think Garner's starting the game to wear them out for a bit, and I thought he had a great game in terms of wearing them out, especially compared against maybe the first leg. He looked a little bit wiser to what they were trying to get away with Bradford in that first leg. So he was much smarter in the way he dealt with it. So on to the goals then. Now PA have given it as a Brad Halliday own goal. We're giving it as a JK Gordon goal, aren't we? We're sticking with that 100%.
Well, I definitely am, because someone might have predicted he'd score.
Oh, what were the predictions? I don't think I went for Barkley.
I'll listen back to them. Yeah.
Oh, you.
I said Christian Dennis, and I have an inkling if he starts, J.K. Gordon will score.
Oh, okay. And thinking back, did we both go for 3-1 or 2-1? Did we go in the end?
3-1. 3-1 we did.
But I think I made a clear rule about this. That was the 90 minutes, wasn't it? Rather than the thing. So that doesn't count. It's only 1-0 is the prediction for the score, unfortunately, for that. But anyway, that's another tangent we're going off on there. Yeah, lovely goal this, though, wasn't it? Really well worked in a sense. Obviously, the end bit was a bit scrappy, but a great bit of play by Joel Senior to cut in from the wing. Played a nice little 1-2 with Joe Garner. It was just a little bit behind him, but a great bit of awareness just to flick it into the path of Owen Moxon. Left foot shot from him. Keeper. Should the keeper do better? It's quite powerful and sort of difficult one maybe to hold, and it comes loose, and both JK and Brad Halliday go running into it. And I've seen the club's footage from behind the goal, and I think JK does actually get the last touch on this. I think that there definitely is a touch.
I thought he did.
Yeah, I thought that as well. I can see why on some of the angles you think it was Halliday, but I'm sure the club's footage actually is better than Sky's in this, and then I'm sure it shows that he actually touched it. So, ball goes in the back of the net, and it was just pandemonium, wasn't it, when that went in? I mean,
yeah.
In the paddock, we were going nuts. I mean, Greg wasn't actually stood right next to me. Greg Pullman, who regularly, semi-regularly comes on the show. He was stood a bit away from me. But next thing you knew, he was up against me, hugging me and going mad. It was just like everybody lost their heads. And there's some, I don't know if you've seen some of the vlogs, Stan, of the Bradford fans in the away end have done.
Yeah. Who hasn't?
I've watched them on repeat. I've watched everything on repeat. And honest to God, the limbs, it's one of those phrases, isn't it? A bit throwaway phrase, limbs, whatever. But the limbs in the waterworks end when that goal goes in, just incredible. I know a good friend of ours, Nick Brown, he was in the waterworks, wasn't he, for this one? And giving him a little shout out there. And he was saying just how mad it was, really, and just amazing reaction when that goal went in. And actually, in terms of after that, during the rest of the game, there was some decent chances, but obviously the scoreline stayed at 1-0 in the 90 minutes, didn't it? So there was a really good one where there was a corner came in and Garner flicked it onto the post and it came loose to Moxon, and Lewis made an outstanding save to tip it over. And actually, before the goal, he made a brilliant save to tip Gordon's shot onto the post as well, didn't he? And you didn't realise that in real time. It looked like it just hit the post, but it's a lovely fingertip.
He's a strange keeper.
Well,
he made some brilliant saves,
and then he's messed up arguably on two of the goals.
Like I mentioned, I've got a couple of Bradford mates, and they just can't work him out.
Yeah. It's a very weird one, isn't it? And there's this bit. He's kicking as well. It can be very flat. It's a very risky way of kicking it. He tries to get it as accurate as possible, but because of that, he plays it flat a lot of the time. And there's a couple of times we intercepted some of his kicks, and risky way of playing. He's a good, really good shot stopper most of the time. But yeah, like I said, an unusual one for two of the goals here anyway. But yeah, so great save from him from Moxon. There was a couple more chances. I think second half we had a few as well. They had the only real chance I think they had in the 90 minutes was probably the just after the goal, wasn't it? Where they went on an attack and no one picked up Banks, strangely, and he headed it towards goal. Holy came out and palmed it against the player and it hit the post, and then he did brilliantly to block the rebound as well. I thought Holy had another good game actually as well, to be fair. Handling brilliant, kicking generally very good. Out of the two keepers, I think Lewis has probably looked a better shot stopper, but I feel a bit more comfortable with Holy in goal. I feel like he's going to come and claim everything.
Yeah.
He's going to take control. That's what I felt from watching him. So obviously it went to extra time. I think they had one actually late on as well where Smallwood was in. I think he was offside, but the flag didn't go up, and he tried to loop it over Holy, but Senior was there to head it away. Into extra time. Question for you, Dan. Does Callum Guy ever score shit goals?
Not really, no.
I mean, 4 goals this season, and he could have his own goal of the season competition with all 4 of them, couldn't he? Another brilliant strike, this one. It's the first bad set piece we probably had all day, really, in terms of corners.
That's one feature of these 2 games. Moxon and Armour's delivery has been absolutely fantastic.
And we didn't even use Charters when he came on, taking his, and we know how good he is with his corners as well. You know, we scored against Bradford for his corner on Boxing Day, didn't we? So this one corner comes in, headed out by Halliday to the edge of the box, and it felt in the stadium like it felt like it was taking an age to get to Guy, didn't it? He's like, all right, is it coming? And he set himself brilliantly. Having that much time to think, you can overthink it, can't you? And get under the ball or not hit it right. Strikes across it beautifully. Gets just a little bit of whip on it through the crowd of players. And it's weird because it kind of looks like Lewis should do better with it. But actually, because it's come through that crowd and it's hit so well, I don't think and it bounced up in front of him. I don't think he had much chance of it, did he?
No. It's,
It's just.
I'm just replaying these moments in the head as we're talking about.
It's mad, isn't it? And like again, crowd goes mad. Brilliant for him. I thought Moxon got the man of the match from WhoScored.com in terms of points, from their system. But
it could have been one of several.
It could, and Guy and Huntington particularly for me were outstanding. And so that moment, like the joy, the noise on the ground, that's where you thought, yeah, we're going to do this. And then frustratingly, we actually switched off. The one time in the game we actually switched off in defence, and Bradford got in and scored. Scott Banks got away down the left, and he was isolated against Huntington, and it's the only time in the game where Banks was isolated up against him. He was up against Whelan or Armour most of the game. And, at the end of the day, Huntington's 35, and Banks is 21, isn't he? Got past him fairly easily, and Hunt was like, I'm not giving away a penalty here. Give ourselves a chance at least to try and stop it. Get into the box, and Holy has to come out and try and sort of intercept the cross, but he plays it across to Derbyshire, who taps it into the empty net, and then their fans had the chance to go mental, didn't they? And fair play, they certainly enjoyed it, and they made a fair bit of noise. They did start up with the "You're not singing anymore" chant, which didn't last very long though, did it? Because 6 minutes later,
but then randomly, Mark Hughes took Banks straight off.
Well, yeah, I've got that as a talking point going for as well. We'll cover that when we talk about Bradford. Maybe that was baffling, utterly baffling. Then was the moment of the match, and the moment for one man, Ben Barkley, getting us to Wembley. Initial set piece cleared out to Guy. He did actually really well with a quick reverse ball with his left foot, because the easy option would have been to pass it back. Plays a reverse ball through to Moxon, who had a lot of time and space. Set himself, whips in a lovely ball, and when you watch it back, there's 5 defenders in that box, Dan, and not one of them picks up Barkley.
I know.
Utterly bizarre, isn't it? And the keeper, Mike has said this when we were talking about this on the way back from the game, that actually, when you look at it, it looks like the ball's going to creep into the far corner. So that's why the keeper's gone to go and try and claim it. But he goes far too early, doesn't he? That's the problem.
Yeah.
He
but
sells
when
himself.
Barkley actually meets it, the keeper's almost like
nearly past the
playing
post,
a different
isn't he?
game.
He's nearly past the post.
He looked, when you had the Sabutio keeper, and you put him on his side, he looked like that. Yeah.
It was just ridiculous. He'd almost gone past the post, and it's like, why are you selling yourself to it quickly? I mean, it was great for us. So he goes past, and Barkley gets on the end of it. Again, absolute chaos when the goal goes in. One of those brilliant 70s style surges in the Warwick Road end, and that was it. And yeah, it's the feeling when that final whistle went. Obviously, a bit chaotic for the referee, wasn't it? Really, because the fans started encroaching onto the pitch early on, and he had to basically go over and say to him, "Get back, or I will not." I will not be finishing this game. in the end, ball comes forward to Patrick. He boots it out into the east stand for a throw-in. Now, some people seem to be convinced that the referee didn't blow for full time at that point. He blew for the throw-in. You don't have to blow the whistle for a throw-in. I think he's blown it, but it's one of those ones where he blows, and when the referee doesn't always just do 3 quick, sharp blows. They sometimes blew one blow, then there's a delay before they do the other 2. Not really the time to be shown a bit of panache, is it really, as a referee? You wanted to just basically make the decision and blow the whistle. But by the time he got to doing the second blow, the pitch was half covered anyway. He's like, you know what? Yeah, it's done. It is done, whatever. And yeah, amazing scenes at the end. There's so many incredible photos of the pitch invasion, isn't there? Like the photo, my favourite is the one looking towards the Warwick Road end, where both Moxon and Charters, your 2 Cumbrian lads, are on the fans' shoulders, and you could see how much it meant to those 2, couldn't you?
Oh, yeah. A lot of, look, we know you shouldn't go on the pitch, but it was inevitable at the end of this game.
It's inevitable.
A lot of Moxon's mates were at the match,
Yeah. I'll be honest, I went on at the end. I went on not straight away. I let it all, the enjoyment happen. I was like, right, I'm going on because everyone's on, and it's, you might as well. And just didn't take it all in a little bit. I got to give Corey Whelan a big hug. My God, that lad was dripping with sweat. The effort he must have put in out there is incredible. Jack Robinson, a little pat on the back as well. He wasn't quite as sweaty because he only had a couple of minutes on the pitch, but it was just amazing. And like the scenes at the end, the players on the dugout.
It was great to see the players on the dugout, enjoying it and taking it all in. And even better, I'm probably jumping ahead a little bit, when you saw the videos coming out of the players once they got back to the dressing room, it really emphasised what a squad it is. Oh, because Jamie Devitt's waving his touches in the air. Jaden Harris, the lad's been dropped off the bench for this game, and he's leading the singing. The lads who were on loan, the phone's out filming, they're all singing. Morgan Feeney, who's injured,
banging the kit thing,
committing GBH on a kit drum.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Brilliant.
I genuinely think this might be the best bunch of lads we've had in a long time. I mean, right up there, and just in terms of how much they enjoy playing for the club, and how much they really get it. I mean, Ryan Edmondson's been a prime example all season. Now, what a 22nd birthday for him, eh? Second season in a row going to Wembley for a playoff final. Hopefully two out of 2 for him. Well, you mentioned the dressing room stuff there, then Dan. So what I'm going to play now is the speech that Simmo has given after the game. Now, I've got to say a big thank you to Andy Hall and Amy Nixon for letting us play the audio that they put up on Twitter from this video. And I've got to say as well, what great content they've put out over the weekend as well. All the videos and clips and everything. It's been, I've spent hours and hours looking at it when I should be doing housework probably as much as anything. It's been amazing. It's great. So this is the speech Simmo did, because I want to just talk about this a little bit.
You've got to believe it, and by God you believed it, because that's not just about football, that's about character, that's about belief, that's about being prepared to work hard, and you've done every single bit of that. Because I do not want to go to Wembley to make the numbers up. We're going to Wembley to try and win, and to get the achievement that you've worked your off all season to get, okay? So don't think it's job done. Enjoy it. We enjoy tonight, but then we recover tomorrow, then we train. And it is total focus now, because I'm sick of losing at Wembley and I want to win there, okay? So let's get it right. You wouldn't suit us. Listen, why do anything different? We're going to win the game, so we do the normal things. Let's get our minds on it. We've got Stockport, so unfortunately you can't play, Ben, but you've just got us there. That's absolutely.
I don't know about you, Dan, but I feel like I go and run a 10k for him now. Honestly, if he told me to go and do that right now, I'd go and do it. Like, you can see why those players have been so inspired all season, can't you?
Oh yeah. I mean, it goes back to that togetherness I was mentioning. Ben Barkley was in tears. They're all consoling him, but when you look on his socials afterwards, It's all we.
Yeah.
We as in Carlisle. Not his parent club. We as in Carlisle.
There's a great bit at the end of the video as well, like right at the end after Simmo says, "Now put your shit music on." All the players, as soon as they finish, they're all going over to console him and give him a hug, aren't they? Like, and that just shows you, doesn't it? And like I said with Ben Barker, I think he's been brilliant this season. I think like to come back from all the injury issues he has to do as well as he has done, and be a big part of us getting to Wembley. I'd be doing everything we can to sign him in the summer, whatever division win. I think he could be a really big player for us in the future as well. And if he doesn't come, well, what a way to sign off, eh? Incredible.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Right, let's do some 6-second reviews, Dan. Should we start with the best? Go on. He's been our top contributor all season. He's maybe not got a catchphrase like some of us have. Sorry,
like
Regan.
the other one has.
Sorry, Regan. It's not you first. It's going to be young Craig Robson. Here's young Craig Robson. I've listened to the other two, but I've not listened to Craig, so I'm interested to see what he had to say.
Well, we failed. We couldn't make Marky smile, even after how hard we tried. I mean, we even gave him a nice warm welcome from the paddock. Anyway, less on that pillock and more on us. Can we complete the trilogy of Workington, Annan and Carlisle? I guess we'll find out when we go to Wembley. Anyway, on to the game. I thought it was a great first half, mainly dominated by us, with a very helpful own goal conceded by the same person that said to the papers it'll be even bigger when we get to Wembley. Before that, though, we very nearly took the lead without any help from a defender, with a J.K. Gordon shot that was well saved from their keeper that I thought actually had a decent game. Half-time came and we went back out to try win. I felt they dominated at the start, but as the game went on, I felt it became more end-to-end football. Then came extra time. That was the most exciting 30 minutes of football I think I've ever seen. First a corner from Owen Moxon being headed away by a defender, only to drop by outside box shot master Callum Guy, who hit it beautifully into the bottom corner to give the Blues a lead. Then, in the second half of extra time, they scored through what was a nice bit of play by their attacker that was some reason took off right after. Then, just as we thought it was going to pens, Owen Moxon floats a ball into the box towards Ben Barclay, who can't actually play at Wembley, who heads it home. Hopefully we can play better than we played Stockport away and seal promotion to League One. Up the Blues.
What a roundup from young Craig. Well done, lad. Hey,
Good lad.
We're going to be getting him Wembley as well, aren't we? We're going to get some bits from him there as well, definitely. Because I mean, for a young fan like him as well, that first chance to go to Wembley with Carlisle. Because we've been a few times. I mean, you were there the first time. I didn't get to go in 1995, but we've been to all the others as well, haven't we? And what a feeling it must be. And no, that's the first time you're going to get to see the Blues at Wembley.
I know. And I've said this to a few people over the last couple of days. I mean, there's an entire generation who have known turgid averageness. And, Wembley, Carlisle United and Wembley. And don't get me wrong, the old trophy games, back when it was a real competition, got to get that dig in there, they were brilliant days out, but they didn't really matter, really, did they? If you won, you won. If you never, you had a day out. This is for something. This is the one, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. This is just incredible, isn't it? It's amazing. But yeah, brilliant stuff, Craig. Thank you very much for your review. We'll be, like I said, speaking to him again. I'm pretty sure after the final we'll get some thoughts on our victory. He's a hard man to please, isn't he? When you listen to reviews, and hopefully he'll be very happy after the final. Right, let's do another one then. Let's do Regan's 6-second review. Here's his.
Yeah, what day? I'm still a bit lost for words, to be honest. At full time, I just kind of stopped and looked around and waited for it to sink in. It's still not really sunk in, to be honest. Obviously, we went through the mill a bit. But all week building up to it, I was really, really confident. And then on the day, I think the nerves just kicked in and I just didn't know what to expect. But, the fans turned up. The best day we'll have at Brunton Park in a long, long time. All four sides of the ground singing together, and the atmosphere was absolutely unbelievable. And the players turned up as well. I don't think there was a bad performance out there. Every single one of them worked their arse off to get us there. And you look at Ben Barclay scoring the winner, and he can't even play in the final. Absolutely gutted for him, but if that is a sign-off, what a way to sign off. What an opportunity he's given the lads, and what an opportunity he's given the fans as well. It's going to be some weekend down there. obviously we'll have Big Mellish back as well, which would be really massive because Wembley's a huge pitch. So we need somebody like him, causes a bit of carnage, and the engine he's got on him, he'll just run all day. Yeah, as I said, still a bit speechless, but as we all know, shag is shag, and it's as simple as that. Up the Blues.
That's what we've been waiting for. I think he summed it up quite well, didn't he, there, really? You know, like I said, I think we're all feeling fairly confident we could get something from the game. The nerves obviously going to kick in on the day, but then, like, I've got it as a talking point anyway. The atmosphere, just incredible, isn't it? To have all, I mean, I think back to that Leeds game, Dan. That is always the barometer now for me. Is my best game I've been to at Brunton Park with Carlisle, right? I don't feel that was as good as this one because the Leeds game, amazing performance, obviously at a higher level against a better team, but the level of jeopardy involved wasn't there, was there? With this one, you needed a result to get there. Sunny weather, atmosphere incredible, all four sides of the ground singing together back in the Blues. The performance was fantastic from minute one. That's why that pushes this one above the Leeds game for me.
Yeah, someone mentioned this to me, and I think we agreed. The Leeds game, I'd probably say.
You'd say the Leeds game still is the one that's above for you, probably.
At least on a par with, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think it's up there with it, definitely.
Certainly since then.
Yeah. So in terms of attendance, obviously the attendance was 15,401. That is a new home record for us in the playoffs, in any playoff. But also, once you add it on to the first leg attendance at Bradford, it gives you a aggregate attendance of 35,976, which is a League Two record, which goes to show. And I have to say, both sets of fans were fantastic over the both games, weren't they? I think their fans went a bit quiet when they went behind in ours, which you can understand. That happens, doesn't it? Really, it deflates you a little bit. We were a little bit deflated when the goal went in for Bradford, but amazing, absolutely amazing. Got to say, talking about Bradford quickly then, Dan, before I go to Mike's 6-second review. Bit disappointed with them. I was expecting a lot better. I was expecting a really tough test across the two legs, but take away the open 20-25 minutes at Valley Parade. Holy's not had a massive amount to do over these two legs, has he?
Not really, no. Obviously, the goal in the first game, which some people put a little bit of blame on him. I didn't, but no, he hasn't really, has he?
No, and what he's dealt with really well. He's come and claimed crosses. I don't think he could have done much about the second goal against not the second goal, the goal in the home leg. But yeah, it's interesting. Before the game, Hughes was banging, Hughes was banging about us being direct and long balls forward and stuff. So out of the two teams, there was only one team that looked one-dimensional over these two games. Yeah, we'll go direct occasionally, but we'll also get the ball down. We'll also get set pieces. We can play so many different ways. Bradford is so reliant on Cook, aren't they?
Yeah, basically.
Basically,
and that's what one of my Bradford mates said. They said Cook or bust for us. Yeah,
and when Huntington's got him in his back pocket, I mean, he hasn't got a chance, has he? Really? It's not much he's able to do. So yeah, you said it before, but let's briefly touch on it. What on earth is he thinking with that sub? Scott Banks has just absolutely blitzed Huntington. He's clearly shown he's not tired. He surely be on cloud nine, thinking, "Yes, I'm motoring now. I can get a go at them here." And pretty much straight away, he subbed him off for Matty Platt, a defender.
Yeah, crazy.
When you consider the positive subs that Simmo makes most of the time, and he did again in these games, it just looks bizarre, doesn't it? Utterly bizarre decision to sub him off. But a lot of the Bradford fans are saying the same thing. To be fair, it's nothing that they'll be surprised if they listen to this hearing us say, will they? So there you go. Right, Mike's 6-second review. Sorry, I haven't done that yet. So let's hear Mike's 6-second review.
Just an absolutely unbelievable game of football. One of, if not the best game at Brunton Park that I've ever seen. Everyone to a man was absolutely brilliant. Man of the match for me, Callum Guy. I think he was just at his best. he stopped numerous Bradford attacks in their tracks, and he also was a big part in a lot of our attacking moves as well. Just a sensational performance. I think their keeper was maybe suspect for a goal or two, but looking back, the third goal where his position's a bit off, it looks like that ball in from Moxon is going to find the corner of the goal. And goalkeepers hate balls in like that because, you know, if Barkley doesn't touch it, it will go into that corner. And I think, you know, if he does touch it, which he did, it goes into the middle of the goal. And there was one earlier on, and I think it was Edmondson left it, and the ball was going to go into the corner, and he saved that one. He made another very good save to deny Moxon, and a sensational save in the first half when he flicked Gordon's shot onto the post. I think Gordon as well had a brilliant game, and for me has to start at Wembley.
Well, there you go. Mike's jumping ahead to the preview already, isn't he? He's picking his forward line, isn't he? Yeah, great stuff from Mike there. I'll pick up on his Callum Guy point there, Dan. Yeah, I've got to say, it's incredible the turnaround he's had this season, isn't he? Because you think back to last season, he found it quite tough after being made captain, didn't he? He didn't quite hit the levels he had done the season before. But there's an argument he's gone to an even better level than he was at before that now, hasn't he? The level he's been at this season.
Yeah.
Does it help, do you think, having better players around you, possibly?
Yeah, that's certainly an element.
Yeah, 100%, isn't it? Yeah, I feel like he had a brilliant game, and I'd agree with him. I think I'd say, again, he'd be my man of the match. Other individual performances you want to pick out? I know we could name every single player. Moxon had another great game, didn't he? And I thought, like I said, Garner and Gordon up front battered, basically, the two attackers, they defenders, sorry, they couldn't cope with him at all, could they? Really, you know. And Gordon, the way he brings the ball down is amazing. Genuinely, you can see he's going to play at a higher level, can't you? The way he plays.
Yeah, you see that with, you know, Garner, Huntington. The experience shows in these games, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It stands out a mile.
Yeah. Got to give a special shout out to Joel Senior as well, though. Actually, to come in from the cold, having, you know, only played once in the last couple of months, to then play near enough the full 90 minutes in 2 playoff games, and you could see him really growing into the game. We actually started getting the ball to him quicker, didn't we, in this one, which made a big difference. You know, he's out of contract at the end of the season, and he might well not be staying on based on the fact that Simmo has not really used him much in recent months, but to come in and do that, again, just shows how good this squad is, doesn't it?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? A couple of very brief ones to mention here. Referee, give him a bit of credit. Good referee, you know, no complaints at all. I don't think he was particularly...
I thought he did it quite well.
I don't think he was particularly...
Maybe argue with some of his injury times, but...
Yeah, you know, he wasn't a particularly homer, you know, which, you know, I think Bradford would have been worried about from what Simmo said after the game down there. He got it right with 2 of our penalty shouts. You know, there weren't penalties. He got that absolutely bang on. He maybe could have given a couple of yellow cards in it, and he could have cut down on their time wasting. I mean, time wasting after 10 minutes they were with goal kicks and throw-ins, which was pathetic, really. Yes, there's that. And also the Sky coverage. Genuinely, actually, all the footage and everything looks great, but they split it over the 2 channels. They had it on 2 channels, main event and football, but on the main event one, they came to us in time for 15 minutes worth of build-up before the game, and then obviously saw the goal. But on football, which I recorded annoyingly, they didn't come into us until after the Stockport penalties had finished, which meant I missed seeing our goal on that, annoyingly. So, yeah, a bit frustrating that. And then on the main event one, they cut away from us to go to Arsenal v Forest earlier. So, I mean, really what they should have done is they should have had all of our game on the football one and done Stockport on the main event up until came to ours, really. But there you go. Yeah, and obviously, as we mentioned there, in the other playoff, Stockport got themselves through. A bit of a dramatic one for them, wasn't it, really? Olafeye got the goal in normal time to take it to extra time. Steve Mallon had a heavily deflected shot going from distance that looked like it was going to send Salford to Wembley, but then former Blue, Jack Stretton, there's an ex-Blue jumping ahead there, isn't it, Dan? He scored
ruining my ex-Blues bit. Well, the meagre pickings this week.
Very meagre. We've already covered Annan in the playoffs, haven't we? So we don't need to do that. But yeah, I'm just wrapping that bit up anyway, Dan, because I know you've got to get away soon. what was your feeling after the game? Like, what, in terms of like what it meant to you, Carlisle getting to Wembley again?
Well, like I've sort of mentioned already, you know, this is a real game.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Wembley '95, brilliant. Carlisle at Wembley first time, amazing.
Yeah.
Didn't care about the result that day.
No.
Second time we won, brilliant. You know, we did Cardiff twice. We've been back to New Wembley. We lost and we won. And don't get me wrong, the trophy was a great competition back then. But this is business end stuff, isn't it? This is culmination of 48 previous games, and what it means for the club if we can go up is just, it's off the scale, isn't it? It's another level.
The achievements go from where we've been, which we'll talk about, won't we? When we do the preview for the Stockport game, we'll be talking about how we got to Wembley over the season as well as part of that. Okay, Dan, then do you want to do quickly a round up of the X-Files section?
Yeah, I'm just opening it up because I've got all sorts open on my phone as usual. It's not a very big one. Playoff related. Reece James scored for Sheff Wed in that balmy 5-1 win
What a
after
game
extra
this
time
was. What a game.
in the playoffs over Peterborough, which went to penalties. Jack Stretton scored extra time winner to give Stockport a 2-1 win over Salford to take it to penalties, which they obviously won. And James Tavernier scored for Rangers in the 3-1 win at Hibs yesterday. And we've done the promoted, all the Annan boys. Again, well done to them.
Brilliant stuff. Excellent. And that's it then for this episode. So that's your review of the Bradford game. I still can't. I'm still going to go away and go watch all the social media videos and stuff again now after this, I think, and have a look at some of them.
I think we'll all be watching them all week.
Oh, 100%. And we know the job's not done yet. We know it's not, but not
at all. Not at all. It's another cup final now, isn't it?
But you've still got to enjoy days like this. If you don't enjoy days like this, you don't enjoy football, do you? Thanks once again to our sponsors, the London branch, who again they'll be very excited about this weekend coming up, I'm sure. Upcoming episodes. So right, this week, this is what's happening. So obviously you've got this episode now. This is your review of the Bradford game. Where I'm going to be on the Lower League Look podcast to do a preview of the final with them, which should be good. Tuesday night, I'm hoping to do a Twitter space, so that'll get a chance for you guys to all contribute your bits and thoughts on the game as well. Behind the Enemy Lines, we're going to do a standalone special for this, where I'm going to be chatting with the guys from the Scarf Bagara War podcast on Thursday night. We're going to do their podcast as well at the same time. So there'll be two sort of bites of the cherry to hear stuff from us there. On Friday, it's the big preview. So me, you, and Mike are going to be on, aren't we? I think for that one, we're going to all get together and we're going to look ahead to the big game. And we do want some of your contributions for that. We'll put some details on Twitter how you can get in contact with us. So maybe a few little audio clips of what it means for you to see the Blues at Wembley again and that kind of thing. And then on Sunday, we're going to try and get a load of content on social media, a few pictures of us on our way down. Because I think we're going to be on the same train, aren't we, Dan? Because you're coming down to Crewe, I think.
Yeah, I think my finalised plan is we're going to Crewe on Saturday and getting a night's kip and a breakfast, and then I think we're picking your train up at Crewe to Watford.
Yeah.
Then changing for the local to Wembley Central.
Exactly, that's the plan. We'll get a load of content up there on that, and who knows, if we win it, maybe we'll do a little special from Euston Tap or something like that on our way back, possibly. Maybe that's what we'll do. Dan, thanks once again for joining me. Thanks everyone for listening. I hope you had a great weekend. I'm sure you all did, and I hope you have a great week ahead as well too, because we're the famous Cal United and we're going to Wembley. Thanks everyone for listening. Up the Blues.
Up the Blues.